Did you get your email to work?
Yes, I did. I called back and,
Yeah.
yeah,
And I heard Andrew reset it for you. So.
yeah. I'm sorry to bug you. I was
No,
leaving.
you're
I just wanted
fine.
to reset.
You're totally fine.
I'm living out of my RV right now because these guys are redoing the floors.
Oh.
I can't find my pants. I can't find my shoes.
I have a Spotify account I started after those guys were here
Yeah.
because of their music.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, I'm gonna pull it up. I'm gonna be on the road tomorrow. I can listen to stuff on the Spotify. So I go in there. I don't remember my password. I tried 2 passwords. It was neither one. I said, okay, reset my password. It says your email isn't on file. Okay, so I'll create a new account. Your email is on file.
Oh, jeez.
Of course. I give up.
Don't you love that?
I deleted it.
Yeah, I
I
don't
said,
blame
screw
you.
it.
I love how you have to have passwords for the most lame things, like entering a 5K race. I mean, really?
Yeah.
Like someone's gonna break into this?
It was cool 'cause last time we were in Vegas, everybody's from Nashville, they were playing in Vegas. Hey,
How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Good start to the school year?
Yeah, so far so good. So far so good. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you. See what trouble we can get into.
All right.
Oh, this could be fun.
Sir, do you have an extra pen? I couldn't find one in my bag. Just my life right now. It's here.
See,
That
that
works.
Yep, this is it. Stacy can't come tonight, so everybody is here. Cool.
Some more people looking at me 2 years.
I know.
Truth is.
Just count in a second.
I didn't think so, right? I can't get in trouble for Sweet, it's 5:30, right? Close enough for going over. Nobody's here. Public comment? I don't see anybody. Nobody online?
Nobody was online. We
Yeah, I was gonna say.
We're online.
We're streaming
streaming.
across the world,
Streaming.
so everybody knows.
All right.
Oh, that's cool.
Careful what you say.
That's right. Very careful. Number 2, administrative reports, consent agenda, board action. 80 minutes, B, financial, C, involvements.
All looks good.
Well, on the board minutes, though, it says board, B-O-A-R, the second line.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
There.
I'll send it to you.
I can, you sent me that Word doc, right? I can edit
Yeah.
that, okay.
Spell check didn't catch it.
I know.
Because it's a real word.
Right.
Don't you love that when you send a text and it's like, oh.
Stop, come back.
What, I didn't
Spell
read,
check.
I always catch it right after I hit send.
Should I re-upload it to the website? Different.
Anybody have any comments on any of those?
We're good.
Financials.
Typical slide money out, first month. Okay. Money there to spend. So
First school year, yep.
I would move to approve the administrative reports, including enclosure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then enrollment report, that's enclosure number 7.
Yeah, and we didn't have actually an enclosure for that because we usually don't do that until October, but I did just have a brief summary so you guys know our enrollments for the start of the school year. So far, we have 83 students enrolled currently with a handful that are still in the wings to be enrolled. 47 were for school district students and 36 were out of school district. Last year we had 43 that were Fern Ridge and out of district was 34, which would equal 77. So it's more than last year.
I think,
The beginning?
Yeah,
Good
it's a
beginning.
great beginning.
I think this is the highest we've ever had a start to.
Are they mostly Lane County students? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
So
think they all are.
I could
Okay.
give you the breakdown really quick. if you
I was
want.
just curious.
Okay.
This is my,
Yeah,
they're-
a lot of Bethel kids actually.
Oh, okay.
19 were Bethel. We have Crestwell, Crow, Eugene 4J, Junction City, Sayslaw, and Springfield.
And Bethel's interesting. We're getting a mix of kids that are credit deficient and the other half is ahead in credits and are gonna end up graduating on time or early. And I'm not sure why they're sending those kids to us, but I love it.
wow, that's cool.
Do we do bilingual curriculum?
We do not. We have, yeah, we do not. We don't have any ELL students currently. And we have foreign language classes we can offer, but we don't have any kids taking it currently.
That's a good start.
Did you vote?
I said, no, do we have a second, Rick's motion?
I'll second.
Motion and a second. We'll vote all in favor of adopting administrative reports, minutes, A, B financials, to include the enclosures, and C enrollment, enclosure 7, all in favor? Aye. Looks like it passes.
Our field work for our audit, which ended June 30th, was completed yesterday. When she came up yesterday morning at 11:30 and told me that they were done, I looked at her, and I must have had a blank look on my face because they were here less than 2 hours to do our field work
She
yesterday.
said it was the best audit she's done. She was very complimentary.
I was just devastated. I figured I'd be here all day.
It's Acuity is the firm that does it.
They're based in Albany.
That's good.
It's exciting.
We've used them for the last few years and they're awesome, very friendly.
Yeah, they were great.
Cool. Number 3, old business. Seeing none. Number 4, new business, annual review.
So it's more the annual report that we submit to the district every June. And so this looks a little different than it has in the past. I like it a lot better than what we've sent in the past. It's sort of a transition to the new format that came in our new contract of how it's supposed to look. It was a little overwhelming when I was like, oh my gosh, that's like night and day different. And since it wasn't required until next June, I sort of did a hybrid of what we did in the past and the new kind of requirements.
I heard a lot of cuss words.
There was a lot of, what in the heck did I agree to? I should have looked a little more carefully at that. But it's great information. It's great. It's just very different than the way it's ever looked before. And so when I
Did that-
started,
The new format actually come from Gary, or did it come down from?
it came down from OSBA, from Kristen, yeah. And when I started, just went along with the format that had been done in the past and just did a lot of copying and pasting and updating the data. And this is just very, very different. But I feel more informative, so I think it's better all the way around.
Well, this was nicely done. It was very concise, very easy to follow. So you did a good job.
You won't have to reinvent it.
No, I won't. And some of what is in this new format was data that we hadn't previously collected, so we are now, so it will be easy to put in at the end of the year. It wasn't as easy to go back and create after the fact, so. That is that.
I like their credit attainment graphic, like that just really breaks it down nicely, so you kind of see the growth that is
Yes,
happening each year with how many credits students are earning.
and that is just really what that and attendance is
Yeah.
our main focus and goals is we get kids earning more. And we are off to a good start this year, so both attendance and credit-wise kids are on track. And our attendance looks better the first 3 weeks of school than it's looked since I've been here, so it's definitely a positive.
Do you contribute that to anything?
I'm not sure. It's interesting because we haven't done a whole lot different in the beginning of the year, but we just, I think out of our 83 kids, there's 3 that are not really doing what they need to do, and the rest look really good.
Yeah.
And normally
Just
that's
kind of
like
coming out of the shadow of COVID.
possibly,
And there's so many more options now too for kids, so this isn't like the catch-all that it needed to be, right? Like,
Right.
you can kind of fine tune what you're doing here, and that draws a different
Yeah.
population.
I think part of the draw to our numbers right off the bat is the GED program. It is at max. We are at our 12 kids
That's
and
awesome.
there's a waiting list, and that has
So perfect.
brought kids in.
Yeah.
And the kids on the waiting list are just enrolled in our regular high school program and taking core classes that will help them towards the GED when they can get into that program. So they're still earning credits while they're waiting, but it has been an attraction for us.
And I can't help but think too, somewhat that our advertising all summer long didn't have something to do with it.
We try to ask how they heard about us.
Yeah.
That gets a little crazy at the beginning of the year when so many come at once. The most frequent thing we hear is word of mouth. But we have heard advertising and then the GED program, which they haven't specified how they heard about that, but we don't advertise that, so it has to be word of mouth. And there's no reason to advertise it at this point when it filled up instantly.
Actually heard your,
I love
Spot
hearing
today.
I love hearing
yeah, I heard it once or twice.
I hear it a lot.
a lot too.
And I think too, we're getting recommendations from the high school though for the GED program.
Yes, and Bethel is just, their counselors call regularly. We're sending you another kid.
I think once that ice got broke. once
They
it was
don't have an
finally-
online program, and so,
Yeah, but even up the road,
The
once that
relationship,
got broke,
Yeah.
then it,
relationship
works
with them
well.
has been good.
Are you surprised that you would have that many GED kids right at the very beginning
Yeah.
of the school year?
A couple of them carried over from last year that didn't finish, but I would say more than half are new. And we fine tuned that waiting list criteria and all of that last year's preparing because we had a feeling this would happen. And so it's all been done and said in advance. And attendance is part of that. So if they're not working regularly on their GED in that program, then they are kicked out and put back into the regular high school program. So it's an incentive for them to keep working, and that helps then attendance.
That was needed for years around here, the GED program, because people will not go all the way into town for.
And it's great. Our
LCC.
counselor does such a good job, and they can take the tests here. We can proctor them here. So he's been running them through crazy this week, doing all the GED ready tests and getting them placed where they need to be. We actually had a student already pass the English GED portion of her test this week. So she'll be done by the end of the month, I bet.
We bought him a second laptop in the spring because he needed to have,
Two at a
to be able
time.
to test at the same time.
They have to test in
So,
a secure environment, so nobody can be in the room with them. So we use the chamber for one room and we use CJ's office for the other, so we can do 2 at a time, but we don't have anywhere else that's private, so he's limited to 2 at a time. But with 12, that's doable. You can schedule it out. It's been
What's
a
the-
great thing.
Why is there a ceiling on the number of kids if it's online?
Because there's a cap on our enrollment
For
of
GED?
120 for the school, and they're part of that. And so we didn't want to do all GED. And that was one of the questions Gary had asked and wants more information in the annual report next year is on the GED and the data. How many kids are enrolled, how many kids completed, and those types of things, which is great. I didn't include it in this, and I just didn't think about it, honestly, since it was our first year last year. And so we will definitely put that as part of that and track that data and maybe look at expanding it in the future.
Well, it would be nice to be able to say, here, Gary, we
Yeah.
had X number of kids get a GED. Otherwise, they wouldn't have anything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we have this many participating, and so we've helped X amount of kids, with a foot up in life.
I would also
Yeah,
like to
yeah.
see,
Yeah.
with this GED completion, our graduation rates also continue to go up. So I would like to see that combination of both, so we don't become solely a GED program,
Right.
but we're doing both. We're helping kids at both ends of the spectrum. So,
And it was kind of hard at first too, Jackie, because CJ's the one that's basically overseeing the GED program.
it counts.
Even though the teachers are still teaching the classes, he's overseeing and monitoring those kids at all times, in his contact with those kids, scheduling their tests. We're,
While doing the
Ex-
whole counselor position.
yeah, everything on top of it. And we're paying for those tests, so he has to be there to pay for everything as it goes through and schedule. So it was overwhelming at first.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
and it's a learning curve. So we definitely can look at increasing that number as we get into it and see how manageable it is.
Is there value in keeping track of how many kids are on a waiting list?
I think there is, yeah,
To see.
yeah, and we
Trying to do
are, so yeah.
How many kids do we have?
I'm not sure, I'd have to look at where he is right now. We've been so crazy the first 3 weeks, but I do know there's a couple at least above the 12. But like I said, we have one girl who we expect to finish this month, so by the end of September, she would probably be done, and that would become
Great.
Everybody's favorite. Any other thing on annual review?
Nope.
Be elect/appoint officers. Stacy's not here tonight, right?
So you're appointing her.
That's how it works.
I thought that's how it works.
Stacy is currently the secretary.
Yeah, she is. And I thought that's how it worked around here.
And Robbie's treasurer,
Yes.
Yes,
vice president, president, that's what
yeah. So we
Well,
can,
I'd make a motion that we just keep the slate of officers the way they are.
I was gonna say, is there anybody that wants to switch stuff up? Or I like your solution, if we can just run with it the way it is, if nobody has any objections or other ideas, or if anybody really wants to jump into.
I'm good.
I'll second that.
Here, arm wrestle for it.
I think it's settled right there then.
It sounds like a first and a second to me.
Yeah, it's first, second, and a vote all wrapped up into one. Yeah, looks like that's a 5-0 in a hurry. Unless we need an official motion to,
We do.
Probably do.
Probably.
I heard a,
So do we
Motion to
want to
keep
do
it
it
same.
individually? So we need
I do
to
it
do as opposed to the full slate.
I think you could do,
the whole slate without any,
if
as long as
there's
there's
no
no changes.
changes.
So I guess I'll restate my earlier motion, was just to go ahead and maintain the slate of officers that carry forward from 2023. JR as president, Rick as vice president. Treasurer, Andrew treasurer, and Stacy as secretary.
Secretary.
I'll second it.
Hearing the motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Guess it passes 5-0.
Easy.
Yeah, let's go to C, surplus old Perkins TVs.
So in the past 2 years, we've done the electronic recycling program and got all kinds of money in a gift certificate to use at Next Step Recycle. So over the summer, I went and got a new 4K HD smart TV. We put it in the back and took down a very old TV that does still work, but it's a dinosaur and ran very slow and just, we weren't using it. It was bought with Perkins money, So it came from way back when we were at the high school, before we moved over here.
Wow.
Checked with ESD and they said because it is so old, we can do with it what we want. And so I'm asking board permission to try to sell it or recycle or donate it to somewhere.
It
It
was
works.
originally purchased for the auto department, for the auto shop. And then when we closed the auto shop in the tier, it was transferred to culinary.
I mean, I don't think it's worth anything at this point, but it does work.
It's one of those big ones with the big butt, and it's really hard to move.
Yeah, it's very heavy, and I think it's
Horrible.
54 inch, but it's large and cumbersome.
And to reinforce the board to attach it to the wall.
I like that idea. What about, as a suggestion, we just donate it to Next Step?
Definitely could do that.
Staff is too busy to try to be selling something.
Right?
No one's gonna buy it.
I love that idea.
Especially
And if we could just,
They're not.
It's not worth
Give
it.
it to-
Not gonna buy it.
New TVs are so cheap and yeah, it's,
it's very extremely cheap nowadays. So if we can just donate it back to Next Step.
I love it.
So when does the new program start about being able to collect and take things
I
to
want to
them?
say it's March,
Oh, so it's months away.
It's a ways.
House it
It's
for a
a-
few
yeah.
months.
but we can take it to them and
Get credit.
We could probably do that. I think they would
think
just
they
would,
let her
yeah.
know.
And it goes by weight, so we
Oh,
we
yeah.
definitely want that to count because that increases right there.
I bet they would.
I like it.
Like what we did last year.
And we've already used the new TV several times this year, and I can't count on one hand how many times we used the old one in the last 4 years. So
Oh, we used it a lot on Fridays because they did movies.
they did, but it didn't always work.
We get all our stuff from Next Step.
It's great.
It's awesome.
I went in there
They
and
do such a great job.
they were just so easy to work with and
Yeah.
loaded it in the van and perfect.
They do an amazing job. So it sounds like that's gonna go off to Next Step.
Easy.
You guys need help moving that, or how do you haul it around?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I might just have
They might
them
come
put
get
it in the van. They might come get it. I'm gonna ask that first if they're out here for anything.
If not, I'm happy to run it down.
Okay, thank you.
Number 5, director's report.
Reports. So the first thing was student enrollment orientation, which as we said was great. We were at 90 kids at one point and then we dropped the kids who just didn't show up this year because they roll over from last year. And so we always have a handful that don't. We're at 83 today, but like Shauna said, there's 3 or 4 at least that are in the process of signing up and we've talked to their schools. And so
More than that, because we have a handful that have expressed interest through our website.
Oh, okay.
too.
So we're real close to that
Yeah.
90 number, which is great, and getting close to that 120 cap. So I love that. That would be a great problem to have.
Yes.
We're map testing all of our kids, and that is one of those data points for the annual report as well as just for teachers to use. It's real easy to get them all map tested in the fall when they come in for orientation. Our struggle in the past is getting that second round of testing to see if there's growth. So mid-year and end of the year, they don't like to come back in. So we incentivize and require and beg and try, and it is a challenge for us to get them to come back in. Our handful that work here every day, not a problem, but the others, and we need that data. It's important data, and so it's a constant work in progress, figure out how to get them to do that. They can do it remotely, but they don't do it remotely. So
Can we set up the van and go to them?
we could knock door to door. Take this really fun test. You'll love it.
We're here, we're not going away. So let's do the thing.
Staff development, the district invited us over for their fall in-service keynote speaker this year. He was
He was
amazing.
fantastic. He was so good.
Amazing. When Gary invited us, I thought, oh, keynote speakers, incredible, super inspiring. Absolutely loved him. So I would recommend you circling that name
Yeah,
and
Google.
Google him
Google
and
Ron
watch
Susskind, yeah.
the movie that he made about his son on the autism spectrum. And it's amazing. So, yeah, it was great to be included and the staff all loved it. So,
That's great.
yeah, it was awesome.
Well, our tip our hat to you, because probably a couple of years ago, Gary wouldn't have invited us.
I know,
Right.
I
Loved
really
it.
think it's
Right.
about the work you've done. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's awesome.
great.
It's
Yeah.
not- Really. I don't think we've been invited back since we moved here.
It was awesome. So inspired me, I know that.
Yeah.
Our new staff member, Tony Randall, I should have invited him tonight. I will invite him next month to meet you all. He moved back to Oregon from Texas. He was previously in Oregon and from Oregon originally. He has been this seamless fit. He fits with the staff. He's picked up the curriculum. He's got all these new ideas. In fact, today we just talked about a new course that we're gonna give all of our incoming students. Just basically, what's it called? Digital
Digital
citizenship. But it's really about how to be a good student in general, but then really how to be a good student online. And so that is one of the number one things we hear from kids and parents when we do our surveys is we need more on how to manage our time and how to prioritize and all. And this gives them all of that in the online setting. And so I'm super excited to have our kids take it. And his only request is we didn't have all 83 take it at once. So fair. But yeah, he's
I don't
been
either.
great and I'm excited to have him. It's a good fit. Annual audit actually happened yesterday and as we said, it went fabulously. She said, the one thing that we will be marked down on, that we're marked down on every year due to our size is the internal control piece. We just don't have enough staff to have those checkpoints, but they have zero concerns about that. So
That's why Darcy signs a lot of stuff and then everything is documented for you guys to see as well.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
part of the
and she did
process.
say, that's why your board needs to just make sure they're looking at those financials every month, which you guys do a great job of, so. And that is September in a nutshell. It has been a very busy one with our numbers, but I love it.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting.
That's so awesome. Good job. Good job. Moving on, number 6, annual review of bylaws.
So this was one of the things last year, it actually, I believe, says it in our bylaws that the board will review them annually. It didn't send out copies. We can table it and bring it up next month if you do want to have time to review them. They were updated, was it May of 23? And we spent all year long doing that.
Yeah.
So it should be, they should be pretty current, but I think it's always good to remind ourselves what we said we were gonna do.
It just seems like the appropriate process, at least to send it out to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give us a chance to review it.
So we will do that. We'll
Yeah,
send
see.
it out and
If anybody has no objections, if they'll send it out. Put it on the agenda for,
yeah, it kind of came into my mind last minute, so we will
that's fine.
definitely.
Because there's been no changes since we.
No.
And
nothing in there says
we.
that you'll do it in September. It just
Right.
says you'll do it annually. So.
Awesome to see those. Next meeting. What a good start to the year.
It feels good. It's fun.
It's nice to be on top and not behind the 8 ball.
Yeah,
I
it is.
mean, you know,
And I just,
so nice.
starting with 80 plus kids instead of 50 kids, just, you can breathe. Like, we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
We budgeted at 70, 75, 70.
75, I think we went
So
out.
we're definitely above where we budgeted. and
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
I'll be curious to see.
Just
when-
feels good.
When the first check comes in, because it'll see that.
That feels very good.
I don't know, Sarah, I don't know if you did it in September, but do you normally publish a calendar of kind of what the board schedule is?
I
When it
think I
comes
sent
to
it to
work
you.
sessions and executive sessions.
We did
Did
that
I not send it to you when you approved it
in June.
in June?
Oh, is
May or
that,
June?
was,
May or
I went
June.
back to
But we
June.
could
That
send
was
it
a
out.
long time ago.
We could send it out. Yeah.
You know what's happened to me since then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can send it out again.
Yeah, it's in
If
the.
you
would,
website.
send it out.
Appreciate it.
It's a while.
That was a long time ago.
I don't even know what happened last week, let alone in June.
And we are, like we said, live tonight. I'm still working out the kinks in that. It's not required until January, so we'll just keep doing it every month.
Did you do it on Facebook? Is that? or
It's on
YouTube?
YouTube.
YouTube, okay.
And I'm struggling to schedule it in advance, so I have a link to send out in advance. I
Right.
thought I had it today and I didn't, so I can turn it on live when we're here, no problem. But we need to be able to send out a link in advance, so.
So
I
will
will
you send
play
that
with
to
that.
family?
We'll post it on the website.
Just post it on the
It has to be.
website?
It has to be posted on the website and Facebook.
Yeah, that's right,
Social
on
media.
Facebook, so if we
You
have
know
social.
we've changed this, you have to post something on Facebook.
Well, if we have a social media account, then it has to be
Yes.
posted on there.
Yes.
It's on the website and then whatever social media.
Yeah.
you use. And you don't have to email it to families?
We don't have to.
It's interesting. Just-
Could, but we
just-
don't have
It's interesting that the requirement is social media versus
Yeah,
Right?
contacting the
Yeah.
families directly.
and I suppose I always
Right.
could.
To where we are now.
We have the Remind app that parents sign up for, so I could always also do that.
I mean, I guess that's just how people, that's what people build for information, is
Mhm.
Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Good Lord, if you lose your phone nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, how many people would be?
That's where we're.
Because the
Awesome.
districts don't
Good,
send
bad,
them
and-
send the links.
Yeah.
They just post them on
Most
their
of it.
website.
Alrighty, well. Anything else from anybody?
I know it's a ways out, but we will do the annual bazaar in November, the
Yeah.
weekend before Thanksgiving. So the Friday and Saturday, we will do that, and the table fees again will go to the incentive fund.
Good
And-
visibility.
Awesome.
CJ, they won.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
No, the Harvest Festival,
Yes.
huh?
They took second.
His chili was fantastic.
It was
That was,
really
good.
that was my
Awesome.
pick. It was so good.
Yeah, he won People's Choice in second place.
It was so good.
His wife brought me a little cup. She snuck some down to me, so I got to taste it.
That was good.
It was really good.
Quinn went twice. I was like, I'm going back for that one. I was like, oh, so you can do that.
Alright, so number 7.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:00.
I second John.
All in favor? Aye.
There's, I never got it. Copy of the bylaws in your book.
I just carried on from last year, I apologize. I apologize.
The librarian.
So-
Oh,
High school
high school
Oh, this
librarian.
is a huge
I had
success, huh?
to get down there.
Yeah.
It's better every year.
Numbers are great.
That would be fun.
It's great.